Hello everyone, my name is Cailey Koch. I am an undergraduate student here at the University of Central Arkansas, and I did a writing studies research project over stereotypes as they are used in screenwriting. The name of this study is called On Wednesdays We Wear Pink, The Purpose of Female Stereotypes in Mean Girls. During this presentation, we'll be exploring how humor and stereotypes are used in film, why they are used, and how they affect the audience's perception of women. I'll also be sharing rhetorical strategies that I found in my analysis that were used to employ or reinforce the stereotypes, and I'll be assessing the writer's purpose for using stereotypes in the movie to either critique or reinforce society's perception of women. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, we'll all leave with an awareness of how stereotypes are written into the films, television, etc. of what we're watching. So first I'll address the main problem. So film and television are two popular forms of multimodal communication, especially among teens and young adults. Writers use different techniques to employ humor, one of them being stereotypes. Some viewers may accept these stereotypes as truth, while others realize that they are only used to get a laugh out of the audience. If the viewers accept these stereotypes as truth, they may affect how the viewer perceives women, reinforcing that stereotype in society, whereas others may recognize that the humor of the stereotype is specifically comical and notice that possibly the writer has an intent to critique society for believing in said stereotype. So it's important for us to know how to spot these stereotypes on the screen and know why the writer is employing them. So my research questions for this study were: how do screenwriters employ or reinforce female stereotypes in film, what their purpose is for employing the stereotypes in the film, and what effect that these stereotypes have on the audience. The gap in the literature. First of all, there was no literature specifically in the field of writing studies over this phenomena. There, however, has been literature in fields of film, English, etc., that informs us that stereotypes are used. One specifically in the field of English looked at the use of specifically terms and how those convey a stereotype. But that's about it. Not much about how the writer employs the stereotype on the screen, or really the effect that these stereotypes have on their audience. So my methods for conducting this study: first, I did a rhetorical analysis of the film Mean Girls, in which I selected 3 scenes. These 3 scenes are represented at the bottom of this screen. There was the cafeteria scene, meeting the plastics, the burn book scene at Regina's house, and the scene titled A Lot of Feelings, in which they're all reading apologies that they have to certain people that they've hurt. Then I also had a questionnaire that was completed by 7 participants who were women ages 18 to 30. The participants watched a scene from the movie. Specifically, they watched the burn book scene, and then they were asked to describe their perceptions of humor as it was being used in that scene and how they perceived the female stereotypes in that scene. Overall, we looked at appearances, dialogue, actions, characteristics of characters, and those types of things. The major findings of the study were that female stereotypes were in fact employed in the film, and they were done through terms used to refer to female characters, actions of female characters, dialogue, characteristics, appearances of female characters, and attitudes toward female characters from other characters in the film. The stereotypes were perceived by respondents as being exaggerations of reality. So when asked about what they believed that the writer's purpose was for using these stereotypes, a lot of them said words like exaggeration or extreme, but they also claimed it to be an exaggeration of reality. Respondents were saying they're using these to try and be relatable, to show the extreme of how mean girls really are. Also, stereotypes parallel in the film with the reputations that are described in the book, Queen Bees and Wannabes, Helping Your Daughter Survive Cliques, Gossip, Boyfriends, and Other Realities of Adolescence, which was published in 2002 by Wiseman. And this is the book that the movie was actually adapted from. It is a help guide for moms with adolescent daughters. And Tina Fey, the writer of Mean Girls, adapted the film from this book. So what was really interesting was a lot of the characters kind of displayed one of these reputations, which is also kind of a stereotype. So for example, we had the reputations of drama queen, the girly girl, and the perfect girl. Those were all kind of things that each of the characters embodied, which was something really interesting. The implications of this study. So we discovered that stereotypes were purposefully used in writing the film. The author intentionally used them. In this film, stereotypes were not necessarily used to critique or reinforce the stereotypes in society. That is based off of this study. It could go one way or the other, but based off of my analysis and the respondents' answers to the questions, there wasn't really one direction that the evidence was pointing, oh, the writer is critiquing the stereotype or the writer is trying to reinforce the stereotype. So it was kind of a null there. The writer's use of female stereotype in Mean Girls serves as part of her own humorous help guide for adolescent girls navigating girl world, which is a phrase that's used not only in the movie but also in the book that the movie is adapted from. Yeah, so stereotypes were definitely used for humor. The writer definitely intentionally aligned them with the reputations that were discussed in the book. So overall, this does open up the door for further research about stereotypes as they're used in film. Hopefully, we can gain more research in the field of writing studies about screenwriting and about stereotyping in film and different kinds of stereotypes and the different effects that they have on the audience, the different ways that they're employed. Overall, I hope we all leave this with a better awareness and more understanding of what we're watching and what's on the screen. Thank you for your time.